So time goes by, you know what I mean? I don't get killed, obviously. A little while later, I get a phone call, right? Everything is cool. She done got her shit back, you know what I mean? And she's doing an art project. And she wants to collaborate on the art project. And the art project is in the hood. Could you imagine that? It's the way shit should be. You recognize the motherfuckers who did wrong. You recognize the motherfuckers who had nothing to do with it. You recognize the motherfuckers who's trying to get along. You fucking recognize. So since you recognize, you gotta deal with it and accept what you have to work with from the debris. Hodge, Podge it up. You know what I mean? That's it right there.
So I wanted to know what you thought about when I got in touch with you and said, "So do you want to collaborate?" Like, what were you really thinking? Like when that came up?
Well, I didn't give a fuck. But the thing that bothered me was like the invitation to your home. I was like, okay, hey, that's cool. She's cool with you. She know you ain't no thief. I'm like, yeah, she knows that. But I don't want to go there. And then all her friends and her roommates looking like, smash put this nigga back to the thieving ass nigga. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was like, I deal with it a lot, being that I deal with the arts and just like being artistic in the hood. Like a lot of niggas in the hood is artistic, but they don't show it because you know you got to deal with a whole bunch of shit, you know.
For me, calling the police was like suddenly I become a white person who's taking like the authority of the state and saying, I don't know these guys, I don't have their names, all I can tell you is they're these young black guys. I can sort of describe them, but all they would come across is like looking like all the other motherfuckers in your neighborhood.
He was a young black guy. Yeah,
right?
Like,
and then we would suddenly be the people who would be sending the cops into your neighborhood to be, you know, and doing this whole thing that we aren't down with.
But you know what, though? Honestly, you wouldn't have been wrong. Motherfuckers stole out your
house. I know.
After you was hella
and that's true. And that's why, and that's why it's like, you know, people keep telling me that's white guilt shit. I'm like, it's not white guilt shit. It's me believing in my politics really, because I know I'm not wrong, but I can find other ways to do this.
That's not, though, but honestly, if somebody would have did me like that, though, my first thought would have been to call the cops. But if I spoke to somebody like, look, nigga, we can get your shit back. Don't call the police.
Right.
We good.
And that's how it felt.
Simple
because it seemed like if there was some way to get this computer back without involving the cops, and I really felt like I had a much better chance because we already had made some connection. I had your information. Yeah. I had a much better chance of getting it back within a few hours versus like filing a report.
To be honest with you, I was so fucking surprised that you didn't call the police.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't call them, and then like when I asked you not to call them, you was cool with that. That shit was like, you know, I was angry, all that shit at my homies and shit.
Yeah.
But the fact that you didn't do that was just like, it was fucking new. You know what I mean? It was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, why people don't call the police? Oh, the stuff about the cab.
Yeah.
It wasn't about that a black man can't get a cab real late at night. It was the fact that like, you guys were like, we'll give you the money for a cab. Just come down with the stuff. You know what I mean? First of all, I didn't have the stuff.
Right.
And second of all, before all that, even if the stuff that overrides all that is like, black dudes can't get in the cab and be like, oh, I'll pay you when we get there. You gotta have like money up front. Like you gotta give them a deposit. It might not be $30. You gotta give $30. Right. And if it's $20 or $15, you get your change.
Right.
And that was not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
It was really funny. I mean, it was really funny. Like despite the fact of all this fucking nonsense, it was fun, and it was a fun party.
Now that it's all said and done,
but like even in the moment, it felt fun, right? Well, like, it was all good, and everyone's hanging out, and you guys are here, and everybody's happy. Everybody's fucking stoked that you had like weed, right? And like we're getting high because I don't know who else was at the party who had it, and obviously a lot of them get high too. So everybody was all happy to be like smoking out and drinking, and then it does get to like everyone's flirting with each other, and this whole thing's happening. But what was really fucking funny about it is that like you said something about like I was hitting up on these lesbians or whatever. But what was so funny is like, you know, whatever. Really? It was a party full of all these like queer people and these queer women.
Except for the homies.
No, there's a lot of straight up other people too. But like, you know, like a lot of the females that you guys were hitting on were queer.
We're queer, yeah.
And it was really funny. But you know, they weren't being like, oh no, I don't. You know, they were all flirting with you too, and everybody was like, oh, look at these cute black guys.
I got a fake number and a fake email.
Did.
Oh, I so did.